y'all, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I thought I would share with y'all some recipes that I have 5 recipes under $10 that I make for my family of 5, but a couple of them are actually recipes that my mama made growing up as a family of 12. And as a mom now that tries to make, the grocery budget last from the time you get paid till the time you get paid again, I understand why my mom made a lot of the recipes that she did. She always tried to include a meat, a starch, and a vegetable, and sometimes we would even include like a salad of some sort if we were able to. Never really understood why she made so many casseroles and soups and things like that. But now I understand it because it is definitely budget friendly. Casseroles are very affordable and they are filling because most of them have your meat and your starch and everything all there together, and vegetables sometimes. And so it's a very filling meal. It kind of covers all your areas, and most of the time they're very simple and easy. This recipe does have the one that my mom used to make. She always made it with canned tuna. And again, I understand now why she did, because tuna is, high protein, filling. And so she used tuna, and none of us really minded it. And some of my siblings may have minded it, but I never did. I've always liked canned tuna. I'm not a big fish eater, but I always like canned tuna, and so I always liked it that way. So if you want to try it with canned tuna, you go for it. You can even use, I know my sister used canned chicken, but I'm just going to use some frozen chicken tenders that I have, and I'm going to boil them and then just cut it up and use that. You could also use rotisserie chicken, whatever you want to use that you have on hand. But this is just a very easy, simple recipe, and whatever you use may change the price a little bit. But for what we're going to use today, I will share with you, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to go over the price of things. Again, the chicken, I get 2 meals out of this bag, so it's $3.29 for that. The noodles are $1.65. We're only going to use 1 sleeve of crackers, so that's going to be 58 cents. We're going to use 1 stick of butter, so that will be 38 cents. The cheese sauce, that's $1.99. 75 cents for the cream of chicken, and then 75 cents for a can of peas. So that's what we're going to have for supper. And I've already got some chicken actually on the stove cooking for tonight. So I've already taken half out of that bag of chicken, and we're going to go ahead and get that ready for supper. So I like to go ahead and heat up the cream of chicken, the peas, and the cheese together and just kind of blend that all real good together. And then I'll pour over my noodles that I've already drained. And then you can also add in your chicken that you've already cut up. Just mix it up really good and add it into a 9x13 pan. Okay, we went ahead and put it in the casserole dish, and then I added the Ritz crackers, the crumbled up Ritz crackers, and now we're just going to add our stick of butter and just spread that all over the top of it. And then we're going to put it in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes. Okay, for this recipe, this is one that goes pretty much on a rotation for my meal plan pretty much every week or every other week, because it's a very easy, simple meal, but it's filling and it's something that all my family enjoys. So we do this pretty much every week or every other week, especially on some busy nights where we got a lot going on. This is a good go-to for this one. So we're going to do some chicken quesadillas. Again, very simple. You could add to it whatever you want to add to it. If you want to add guac, and you want to add, pico and all the other different things, you can definitely do all that. My family's very plain. I definitely would enjoy adding all that. Sometimes I will add avocado to mine and add salsa and stuff to mine. But my family's very plain Jane. They just like some chicken and some cheese quesadillas. So that's what we're going to make next. And we'll go ahead and get into the ingredients and share with you what you'll need to pick up to make them. Okay, these are the items you'll need to pick up for the quesadillas. I get this 8-count large burrito flour tortillas, and those are $2.05. And then I also use a half a bag of chicken again for $3.29. The Mexican style cheese will only use half of as well, so it'll be $1.37. And then the queso is $1.09 because again we only use half of it. and then 55 cents for the taco seasoning. And I do also get sour cream because my family likes to dip theirs in sour cream, and we only use half of that as well, so that's $1.02. So the total for our quesadillas is $9.37. So I just add some queso onto one side of the burrito and then add in your chicken and your cheese, and then you'll just fold it in half and cook it till it's, nice and brown like you like your quesadilla. Next recipe is another one that we really enjoy. I actually enjoyed this one. I have made this a couple times for my family, but it's been very good while since I've made it. But this was something that my mom made for us, and I think she may have got it from a friend, but I'm not 100% sure. But I did have to actually go on Pinterest and look it up because I could not remember how to make this one. So they do have it on Pinterest, and I will link the recipe down below, as I will with all the recipes. It's called Porcupines, and it's funny because when I said that, my husband was laughing at me like, is that really what it's called? I'm like, yes, that's literally what it's called. And it just has rice and stuff in it, so it's very filling. And then you put like tomato soup, tomato sauce on it. It's very easy, quick meal. And you can put with it whatever you want. Now, that night, the night that I made these, I did make some potatoes and some broccoli, and you can do that with it, or you don't have to do anything. If you want to do like maybe some mashed potatoes, whatever your family likes, put in your side that your family would like, that kind of keeps that price range around the same. My family likes the canned sliced potatoes, or like the whole ones. I'm not a huge fan of them. I could do without them, honestly, but they really like them. So occasionally I will pick those up and we will do those in the oven, and I'll just put them on a baking sheet with my broccoli and pretty much do the same seasonings that I do with my broccoli. So we're going to go ahead and get into this one. All right, for tonight's dinner, we're going to be making porcupines and some Italian potatoes, and we're also going to do some broccoli. We got 1 pound of organic ground beef. That's $5.29. We've got 2 cans of potatoes, the sliced kind. Those are 98 cents a piece. We've got our broccoli. It's $1.29. An egg, 54 cents. Can you believe we're paying 54 cents for 1 egg? And then tomato sauce is 55 cents. Tomato soup, 45 cents. And then we have a half a cup of rice, 18 cents. And then we're just going to use seasonings that most people already have on hand, just like garlic powder, salt and pepper, and stuff like that. Okay, for our potatoes, I'm just going to add this packet of Italian dressing mix on top of my potatoes. And then I'll just cut up some little, cube up some butter and put on top of them. Now on my broccoli, I will add avocado oil, sprinkle it over it, and then add onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, salt, pepper. You can add, whatever seasonings you want to. And then I add some of that, the garlic powder and onion powder, to my potatoes as well. And some, extra salt and pepper. But you can add, pretty much make this your own, however you want it, whatever you want to add to it. I just like to put a good bit of garlic powder and onion powder pretty much all over, the broccoli and that. And for our porcupines, we're just going to do our meat, garlic powder, onion powder, our half a cup of rice, our 1 egg, and then you will add in a 1/4 cup of water. And you'll just mix that all together and, into your meatballs. Then you'll mix together your sauce and your tomato soup. Just whisk that together real good till it's blended, and then you'll go ahead and pour that over top of your meatballs. Now, when my mom used to make porcupine, she would add mozzarella cheese on top, so you could definitely do that if you want to keep our costs down. I don't always add cheese to it, but you can if you want. Sprinkle some, cheddar cheese or mozzarella cheese, whatever you want to put over top of it. And then we're going to go ahead and just cook these. Okay, for dinner tonight, I'm going to make a teriyaki chicken in the crock pot and some rice, and then I'm going to do a side of green beans. These are the prices that I have from Aldi. Now, I know Walmart's pretty similar in price stuff, so if you want to go to Walmart, you probably could get it around the same price, I'm sure. So sesame seed, we're going to need pineapple chunk, teriyaki sauce, white rice, and then some chicken, and you can do a side of green beans if you want, or some other vegetable, or you don't even have to do a vegetable if you don't want to. I just usually try to include one in our meals. So sesame seeds, I usually have those on hand, but I did have to pick up some the other day, but most people have those on hand. If not, they're like $1 or $2 something, you know, for a smaller one. You really don't have to get a big one like this. And then price of pineapple chunks at Aldi are $1.39. The price of teriyaki sauce at Aldi is $2.45, but I actually got a bunch of these for a penny, so I've been trying to find recipes to use this up because I got a bunch of them for a penny. We'll be eating some teriyaki chicken apparently, or some other recipes with some teriyaki. And then I always get this bag of boneless, skinless chicken tenderloins, or you can get the chicken breast. It's a little bit cheaper, I think, to get the tenderloins. And they are $6.59. Sorry, can't talk. $6.59, and I get 2 meals out of this bag. So I divided it in half, so that'd be $3.29 for our chicken. And then I also get 2 meals out of this bag of white rice, and so I divided that in half. So it's normally like, I think, 2 something, and so that would be $1.09. And then with our green beans that I added, these are $2.09. Okay, so the recipe says to go ahead and let your chicken cook for about 3 hours and then mix up your teriyaki sauce and your pineapple. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on for 3 hours on low. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on so it can start cooking, and then we'll come back and add the rest later. Okay, our chicken is cooked for 3 hours. I went ahead and took it out, drained off all the like the juices from the chicken, and then cut it up. I like to cut ours in a little bit of chunks. You can shred it whichever way you want to do it. And then it says take your teriyaki sauce and your pineapple. Of course, drain your pineapple. And it says mix it together. And then just pour that over your chicken. Okay, so we're just gonna mix that into our chicken, and then it says to cook it for another 30 minutes on high and just check it. For this recipe is chicken pot pie, my husband's favorites for sure. And I usually make my homemade crust. My mom always did it growing up, and so I just have always done that. If I had a busier week, I would just use the store-bought pie crust because it would make my life a little bit easier sometimes. But you could definitely go and probably even cut down the price of what this meal would cost by making your own pie crust if you have those things on hand to do that. But I'll usually do my own pie crust, but if you want to make it easier, go ahead and do, store-bought pie crust. It is super easy. It does cause a lot less mess in your kitchen. So we're gonna go ahead and make that chicken pot pie, and I know everybody loves a good old chicken pot pie. It's so filling, and it's definitely a comfort food. I feel like a lot of people really enjoy a chicken pot pie. Okay, for dinner tonight, I'm gonna be doing a chicken pot pie, and I wanted to share with you the items that you need to pick up. I, of course, did, like we've been doing for most of our chicken recipes, I did a half a bag of those chicken tenders, and I've already cooked it and cut it up. And you can get chicken broth, but I already had chicken bouillon on hand, so I just went ahead and did some of that for my chicken broth. And then I just got a bag of these mixed veggies, cream of chicken, and then I did buy this prepared pie crust. So I will share with you real quick the prices of everything. So the pie crust at Aldi is $2.55. Of course, the chicken's $3.29 because we used a half a bag of the chicken tenders. And then the bouillon, I'm not going to count the price in that, but if you did, I think it's like $1.59 for a thing of chicken broth at Aldi. Then the mixed veggies are $1.09 at Aldi, and then the cans of cream of chicken, they're 75 cents a piece. Well, that's going to be all for today's video. I hope that y'all enjoyed. Thank you so much for being here. If you did, please leave me a comment, whatever you want to comment, maybe whatever recipe you enjoyed. I'd really appreciate it. Hope y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next one.